Now for the starting lineups. First for the visitors from Plattsburgh. Number 3, Kate Gagan. Number 4, Sarah Bonner. Number 8, Kylie Wallace. Number 9, Rachel Moran. Number 10, Madeline Sicaccio. Number 11, Brooke Knight. Number 15, Ashley Guinness. Number 18, Alex Benjamin. Number 20, Anissa Hartman. Number 23, Vina Nguyen. And in goal for the Cardinals, number 1, Nicole Gibson. Plattsburgh is led by head coach Tanya Armolino, assisted by Franzi Noze and Jean Bushy. Now the starting lineup for your RPI engineers. Number 2, Bethany Hansen. Number 3, Janine Morrow. Number 8, Jackie Richard. Number 10, Alexis Castrolon. Number 11, Maddie Steinmetz. Number 12, Corey Winslow. Number 14, Allie Zampetta. Number 18, Katie Mann. Number 22, Steph May. Number 23, Emily Kaplan. And in goal for the Engineers, number 0, Joey Lyons. RPI is led by head coach Breland DeSymphony, assisted by Mary Claire Peltier, Ryan Edson, and Shelby Stromerson. We ask that you now please rise for the playing of our national anthem. The NCAA Liberty League and Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute promote good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation by supporting the participants and officials in a positive manner. Profanity, racial, or sexist comments, or other intimidating actions directed at officials, student athletes, coaches, or team representatives are grounds for removal of the site of competition. Additionally, public intoxication, the consumption, use, or possession of alcoholic beverages and tobacco products in all Rensselaer facilities or outdoor venues is strictly prohibited.
I don't know. Why don't you ask them? You have your interview? Yeah. So you have to talk. You press the top button. So you have to talk. You have to press the top button and say,
Yeah, I did this kind of work back in
Oh,
high
you did?
school.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Good.
And I want to know, for this camera, which one is autofocus? I don't know.
Yeah, it's right. That's
one.
that push out.
Okay. Got it. Okay. I don't have to click record, right?
No, you don't have to.
Okay.
We're just feeding, and then you'll take a turn in this.
Okay.
We'll rotate you out into the switcher.
Okay.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to East Campus Stadium. RPI Women's Soccer here on RPI TV. It's a beautiful night here in Troy. Perry Lascaris. Joining me is Colleen Dempsey. Colleen, thanks for stepping into the booth a little bit last minute, but we're happy to have you here.
Good to be here, Perry. Thanks for having me.
It's a beautiful night, of course, and always a good time to have a little soccer. RPI and Plattsburgh. The Engineers are off to a fantastic start to the season, 6-1 on the year, taking on a Plattsburgh team out of the SUNYAC. Colleen played some college soccer at Division II Mansfield down in Pennsylvania, but we are in the midst of a chance here. There's Corey Winslow trying to send the ball across. She'll now work it back to Steph May. Maddie Steinmetz, sophomore right back, will lob one right back in, headed on by Castrolon, and now the Cardinals will look to clear. Snazzy looking kit here for Plattsburgh right off the bat. That's what I noticed right away was the red with the
style, right?
Yeah, very, very stylish.
Yeah.
Here's Zampetta winning a loose ball, finding freshman Emily Kaplan. Left-footed try from Richard, blocked. Second effort through, and not sure if it was a shot or a pass there, but it was handled by Gibson, the Plattsburgh goalie.
Yeah, Plattsburgh so far this year is coming out. They're 5-3 on the season. Right now, there hasn't been many contests played in the SUNYAC, but they're right now in the top 4 with Cortland and Buffalo State. And so far this year, they have the 8th highest scoring offense in NCAA Division III. So it'll be a real test for the Engineers to handle this offense. I think they have right now a great forward in Anissa Hartman, number 20. And right now, she actually ranks 26th in the nation in goals per game. So pretty exciting.
That's pretty big for them. And the Engineers probably one of the better offenses RPI's faced so far, and that's kind of what you want heading into league season. RPI, the last team in the Liberty League not to play a league game. That they'll come this weekend, and they'll come in a hurry when they get RIT and number 2 William Smith coming to town. So they'll have some challenges there. Here's a chance potentially there. That was the left back, Moreau, getting forward. Janine Moreau, great story for her. She's started every game at left back for RPI. And there, she gets up that wing very well. Her and Steinmetz on both wings. They're both young. Steinmetz a sophomore. Morrow a freshman, but having an impact on this team.
Yeah, we should have a really good battle with RPI's forwards, and especially in the back for Plattsburgh State, Brooke Knight. She's a junior defenseman, number 11. She is extremely quick, so she's going to be able to really handle that speed that the Engineers are throwing at the defense. So it'll be a good battle up front, and I think we can expect to see some physical play. We're going to see a lot of people interchanging roles to try to, if anything, gas out Brooke Knight, because she's going to be taking a lot of those balls and keeping the Engineers from playing anything over the top and getting a breakaway with their young keeper.
Yeah, Kelly mentioned Brooke Knight, 5'7". She's from Plattsburgh, so stayed right at home up there. She went to Plattsburgh High School as well. Importance in center back play is always crucial. The Engineers have a couple good ones of their own. We'll get to them later on. As it's Steph May finding Corey Winslow, the just crowned League Player of the Week in the Liberty League. She had 2 goals and 2 assists last week. RPI beating Hartwick 1-0. She had the only goal in that game, and then she had a goal and 2 assists in a 4-1 win against Manhattanville. There's a ball won here by the aforementioned Knight. She's all the way up towards the midfield. We'll see this a lot from Joey Lyons, the freshman goalie for RPI. She loves to use her feet. She's left-footed, so keep that in mind. But she loves to come out and play the ball. The Engineers aren't afraid to play the ball back to her either, which is a strong characteristic to have for a goaltender, especially in this day and age.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I was in college, I spent a lot of time, most of my time at the outside back position, and having a goalkeeper who is good with their feet is just, as far as even just the mental aspect of being a defender, and having one that you can trust to pass the ball back to, or God forbid they have to come out of the box if it's a breakaway situation, you can trust them to take on that field player position and help you out.
Absolutely. As RPI has seen so far from their freshman goalie, who was the league's Rookie of the Week, or Defensive Player of the Week, I should say, back after the first week of play. She's still only allowed 2 goals on the year, one of them being a penalty kick. So she's had a great start to her collegiate career. She's out of Maryland, I believe. Or Virginia, excuse me. I'm right, Maryland. Harwood, Maryland. Should have gone on my initial gut feeling there. There's a player down on the field. And so we have a stoppage in the action. We're not too far away. They haven't stopped the clock yet, but I'm sure they'll put some time back up. There he goes. Okay. So 38:40 to go. We're about 7 minutes into this one, and there's an RPI player down. So we'll get you the news on that when we have it. But the Engineers have had a great, as I mentioned, a great start to the year. They're 6-1 overall, best start since 2002 here at RPI, and that's looks like Castellon. Don't want to be showing this, but
no.
But anyway, Castellon, she's been a great story too. She scored her first collegiate goal on Saturday against Manhattanville as a penalty kick. She finished, so she's been one of the bright spots in this RPI midfield, and really the whole team is strong and it's young. We looked at the starting lineup, a lot of sophomores, a lot of freshmen contributing right now, as well as the senior Winslow, of course, up front with the 2 goals, 2 assists to lead the team in points.
Yeah, it's interesting that you bring up their youth, because Plattsburgh on the other end they have a 29-woman roster, and they're bringing back a lot of their power from last year. They finished last year 4th in the SUNYAC in the regular season, lost to Buffalo State in the semifinals. So they had a great year last year, and they're hoping to build off it, but the majority of their impact players are juniors, as you'll look through. They've got a few freshmen here or there that make an impact, that will come off the bench for them and really try to give them a spark if they need it, which they've seen happen. But for the most part, you're going to see a lot of juniors, a lot of sophomores. So it'll be interesting to see the youth compared to the experience, and how both teams moving forward with the rest of the game, how they'll stack up.
Absolutely, and so it looks like we're going to get back to action here. Sure if the ball was played out, but we'll have a restart. The Engineers early on this year were having a little bit of trouble scoring. They won their first 3 games by all 1-0 score lines, 1 in overtime. Then they were able to finally break out against New Paltz here at East Campus Stadium with a 3-0 win. They then went to Williams and played a great game, lost on a penalty kick, 1-0 on the East home field. So that was maybe a little bit disheartening for them. They thought they played pretty well and had some chances definitely to score in that game, and weren't able to finish. But again, a lot of that you can kind of maybe attribute to the youth of the team in that case, but really not something that you really should get too down about. Their only loss being to the #1 team in Division III soccer.
Yeah, no, that's definitely something to, think about when, especially as a young player, you're not really sure what to expect. The speed of the play is going to be much quicker than what you're used to in high school ball, and there is that learning curve.
Yeah.
And at this point in the season, we're 7-8 games into the year. That learning curve should be dying down now, and all these freshmen that have started 6, 7, 8 games, they're basically now sophomores, and that's the attitude they should have moving forward.
Absolutely. Engineers will have to deal with something here. A corner kick, which they haven't given up too many of this year, into the box, headed high in the air. That was off the head of number 8. That's Kylie Wallace, senior from Cato, New York, and she got her head on the ball but just missed high with the try there. So Sarah Harper was the one who came on for Castrolon. Not sure what happened to her, but really kind of a tough one for RPI because that group was just starting to play together. It's the same exact starting lineup that the Engineers have used back-to-back games, I think, for the first time this year, with Castrolon, Richard, and May in the midfield. And tough. Hopefully, Alexis is not out too long. She's able to rejoin that group in the midfield for this RPI team. Here's Kate Gagan, junior, another junior, as Colleen alluded to. She's from East Syracuse, working the ball to the far side of the field. Stepping in there was Bethany Hansen, one of the 2 junior center backs on this team out of Fullerton, California. She was on the league's honor roll. Really, you could have named any one of the defenders on this team and the team in general for its defensive efforts. They only gave up 5 shots in their last week as a team, which is stupendous. No shots on goal allowed to the Hartwick Hawks on the road. So a good defensive effort, as it has been all year. We mentioned this, 2 goals allowed. We're going to have a goal kick here for SUNY Plattsburgh. They're the Cardinals. They're a big-time hockey school up there towards the border, of course, but they're really competitive in just about every sports team.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one thing that's great about having them on your schedule, whether it's conference or non-conference. You know it's going to be a good battle. You know it's going to be a good game that regardless of what year it is, how young the team is, they're always going to bring it, and it's going to be a great test for any team.
Absolutely. This RPI team, they kind of had that breakout game last time out against Manhattanville, scoring the 4 goals, 4 different goal scorers. This team has spread it around all year. 7 different players have scored their 11 goals. So it's coming from different places, although 3 have come from their stalwart winger, freshman Emily Kaplan, who has 3, as I mentioned, of those goals, including 1 in her debut, the first game of the season when the Engineers beat Farmingdale State. She's from Long Island, so that was big for her, I'm sure. But trying to generate offense will be a key here, and against this high-powered Plattsburgh State team, we'll see how the Engineers are able to deal, as Colleen talked about in the open, with this offensive juggernaut that is Plattsburgh, has scored plenty of goals this year.
Yeah, and right now you're seeing that speed that I was talking about earlier with Brooke Knight.
Yep.
Just gobbling everything up back there, helping out her her outside back, excuse me.
Yeah.
I think going forward, if I'm RPI, I'd like to see them go at the outside backs a little more, 1v1, and have to pull Knight out to help out, and then hopefully get some bodies open in the center of the field.
That's a good idea, because it looks like she was hanging right with Emily Kaplan there, who's, between her and Winslow, 2 of the more athletic forwards RPI has. Here's Bethany Hansen, the center back who takes all the throw-ins. You can see why. She can throw it all the way into the 6.
That was impressive.
A second ball in here from Hansen, high in the air, headed away. Good defensive header there by Wallace, who got her head on the ball at the other end on that corner. So her, Wallace, and Knight seemingly pairing up nicely here at the center back spot for Plattsburgh.
And again, with those long throws, those are huge, and obviously those are definitely in the scouting report for head coach Tanya Armelio. And it's her 3rd season, so
it's a good
we're
punch,
really,
yeah.
They're
good
trying.
Punch by Gibson.
Yeah, she's starting to get now her own recruiting class is really in there. Wow, great tip over the net.
That was Sarah Harper with a great effort there, and equaled by the goaltender Gibson, the sophomore from Ackport, New York. Great athleticism shown there by the goaltender Gibson. The ball was curling away towards the far post, and she had to go up and try to handle that, and did. Out for a corner, it'll be Maddie Steinmetz, sophomore right back, to take it. Maddie out of Malvern, Pennsylvania. Pretty dynamic on the right side. You can kind of pencil her in, pen her in, I guess, at right back every game. In-swinging corner here towards the spot, headed away. Harper trying to get to it. You'll find with these SUNYAC schools, all of them have a lot of athletes on the team. They can all run. Something RPI will have to deal with. They may be better, maybe a little bit better technically. But how do you compete for some of these foot races here? We have another one. Katie Mann not going to beat the winger Wen to the ball. It's Vina Wen on that right side for the Cardinals.
Another player to watch for Plattsburgh moving forward is also Madeline Sacoccio, excuse me.
Yep.
She right now has the second most points and goals on the team, and last year she also had the second most points, only to Hartman, who, as we discussed earlier, is an offensive power all in herself. So look for Madeline to really make an impact as a midfielder that is very offensive-minded. We've already seen her go after balls. She's right now outside on the left. You can see that white headband.
And where's that number 10, of course?
Yeah.
So there's obviously
you know
a reason.
She's good then.
There's obviously a reason for that. She's from Schenectady, which is, of course, if you're familiar with the area, not far. It's where Union College is located. RPI is arch rival in just about every sport.
Yeah.
Is the ball headed by Katie Mann. Settled here on the right side by Gagan. Gagan trying to work past Mann, who's all the way out wide, helping out as Moreau had kind of tucked in to help out, to kind of switch spots there defensively. But good communication key for this RPI team, of course, and they've done a pretty good job gelling right off the bat. Anytime you have a freshman on the back line, you have to make sure that they're on the same page. Here's the very dangerous, but mishandled the ball there, Anissa Hartman. 8 goals, 2 assists for her. Top scorer on the team. She had a hat trick. You saw her score a hat trick against Sage College earlier this year.
Yep.
So she has the ability to put the ball in the net. RPI, of course, has to be aware of where she is on the field.
And not only that, she has the ability, because you're focusing on her so much, to get her teammates into great positions so that way they can score as well. So overall, even though she can net plenty of goals herself, a fairly unselfish player, which is what you want in any time in your forwards.
I mean, that's definitely a blessing to have strikers that are able to and willing, I guess, to give the ball up. Here is Richard playing it wide for Winslow. Back for Allie Zempetta, the 2 seniors on the club. Other than the transfer, who is not in the lineup tonight, Kinsey Waterman played at Siena. She is a little bit banged up and not playing for RPI here this evening. She usually fills in one of those midfield spots, but the Engineers showing a bit of depth. Obviously, with Castro on now, they went to Sarah Harper to play with May and Richard. But needing to show that depth, I guess, here before this league season starts, and maybe they're holding Waterman out, knowing that they have really the beef of their season, the league portion coming up this weekend, and if she's a little bit nicked up, you don't want to risk anything here against Plattsburgh.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the part of the season where no matter who you are, lineups start to become a little more unpredictable, scouting reports become a little more complicated, just because, we're almost through September, and that's when injuries, as far as overuse even, it might not even be from play, it might just be, you play 2 to 3 games a week, it takes a toll on your body, so this is when we're going to start to see those teams who have depth. This is when they're going to really excel moving forward for the rest of the year.
That was Kate Gagan, who got towards the top of the RPI penalty area, found Wen, but they really weren't able to do anything with it. Now they'll try to work the ball over the top to Hartman. Played back for Lyons. She'll use her less dominant right foot, but it does the job. As Winslow works it back for Steinmetz. That pass a little bit off the mark. Throw in to the Cardinals. We're under 29 minutes to go in a pretty fast-moving first half so far. Get you the stats in this one. Not a whole lot to talk about. 2 shots apiece so far. This ball trickles out, I believe, for a goal kick. Yes. Lions will restart. Kind of 2 contrasting teams here, Colleen. This is you talked about the fact that this is one of the top scoring teams in the country right now. It helps to, I think they put up 10 goals in their first game, and then they scored 11 against Linden State middle of September. So those 2 can kind of boost your goal scoring.
Yeah.
But this is an RPI team that's one of the hardest teams to score on so far.
Yeah.
So we talked about something's got to give. We will see right now. Just the 2 shots, no real glaring chances either way.
Yeah, definitely their best chances have come off of corner kicks so far, or in the case of RPI, that one beautiful long throw. But we might have something here with this counterattack.
Here's Steph May trying to slot one through for Winslow. She's got a lot of speed, but I'm not sure she's going to be able to get to this one. It's out and picked up right near the line, edge of the box. The referee says it's okay for Nicole Gibson. She made a fantastic save. We can't forget that shot that Sarah Harper had. The ball kind of trickling back out towards the top of the box. She hit very well, but Harper was able to make the stop.
Yeah.
Now Mann will try to deal with this one. She played it right off of Hartman. Luckily for her, it carried to a teammate. As pushing it forward are the Cardinals. Good defensive tackle there. Steinmetz played in for Zempeda. Good at holding the ball up, trying to play over the top for Kaplan. And they played it away from Knight, which was good, but Kaplan wasn't on the same page there. We're going to have a throw-in coming up for RPI in Cardinals territory.
Fun fact, I have a friend named Emily Kaplan.
Well.
Clearly not the same one.
As far as you know.
Definitely not.
Definitely not, okay.
She is quite the flutist, though.
Okay. Flautist?
Flautist.
Okay, cool. I'm glad I got that one right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ball played out by Knight. Not happy with herself, I believe. She kind of shook her head after clearing that ball. Maybe wanted to keep it in play, not sure. But out of danger at least. Mann to throw it in here. So Engineers not thinking they're in range for a Bethany Hansen chuck. That one looked like it may have come off Zempeda, but it's cleared out once more. And we'll do it all over again from the near touchline. Katie Mann out of Downington, Pennsylvania. Her parents are just about every game. I get a chance to talk to them, and Mom takes a lot of pictures as well. So when I'm down there taking pictures, and she's there.
Love those parents.
Oh yeah, very helpful.
They're so helpful
in the SID world, especially Division III level, as we both are, and very, very nice to talk to them whenever I can. All the parents I've spoken to from this club have been very nice, and it helps, obviously, when you're winning. Last year they had a pretty good year too, RPI. They were one overtime game away from tying the NCAA record. Last year's team, they went 6-7-6, but so close, and 3 more games went to overtime. 9 overtime games for RPI last year. They won 2, lost 1, drew 6.
That's a lot of free soccer.
It was, and you look at some of the minutes of some of the players, a lot of them, I think 3 or 4 even averaged more than 90 minutes per game, which is an incredible feat. Here's Hansen lobbing one in towards the top of the box. Thinking about coming out was Harper, but she doesn't. Now Kaplan gets on it, trying to work on the defender. She goes down. Kaplan drops it back. Richard curling ball goes wide right. Another good chance here for RPI. Maybe Richard wanted to have a little more hook on it than it did. It kind of straightened out, and in the end, it went a good 5-6 yards wide.
Yeah, and I'm sure you can hear it at home maybe, but there's a slight breeze going on here too, so not being out directly in the elements, who knows how hard the wind may or may not have been gusting to help redirect the path of that shot. So we have a goal kick coming for the Cardinals. Getting back to my point, RPI had 3 games remaining when they got to 9 overtime games, and then the last 3, of course, none of them went to OT. And so the folks rooting for the record, some of us in the building here did not come to fruition, but it was a very long season, I guess you could say. That would have been a very unique record to claim.
Literally a very long season. But so far, just the 1 overtime game for RPI this year, which the Engineers did win.
Oh, nice passing right there.
Yeah, good connection there, but in the end, a throw-in for RPI. I haven't seen any substitutions other than Castrillon going off on the injury, so these teams confident in their starting 11s. So far, I'm sure, as non-league games go, you usually see a lot of substitutions, depending on how tight the game is or how the coaches kind of want to play it.
Yeah.
If you're playing this game like a tune-up, like Nassipani might be doing, Breland, the new RPI head coach in her first year, you're playing this game like a tune-up, then maybe you don't sub as much, just kind of seeing what the players have in the tank, with the next game not coming until Friday.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You got plenty of time to recover, regroup, get treatment, and make sure the players really take care of their bodies, and make sure that they're prepared mentally as well, because I've seen many games go astray just because players couldn't find their heads or they're so down from previous games.
Kaplan in. Zempeda hops off her left foot. Left-footed try. And that was Steph May. Not the contact she was looking for. Just kind of lofted in. It was an easy stop there for the goalkeeper, Harper. Or excuse me, Gibson.
Yeah. I think going forward for Plattsburgh, well, let's see if we have an opportunity here.
Yeah,
quick.
well, it's Winslow trying to play Zempeda in. Zempeda likes the ball at her feet, and she does here, gets it back to her. And now May. Steph May. Great passer of the ball in her own right. Laid off for Steinmetz. Good possession here for RPI. Driven cross in. Looking for Kaplan, but off her line again was Gibson to haul it in.
Yeah, I was just going to say, moving forward, it looks like for the most part their game plan, as you can see, Hartman is a lone forward up front on the whoever's furthest back. They're definitely trying to use her physicality and her speed and try to get her in a one-on-one and maybe play the ball over the top. However, I think moving forward, Plattsburgh should try to play a little more outside. As you can see, it's working pretty well right there. But they need to have a little more side-to-side play. Right now they're playing very up and down, very pushing it through the center of the field. I think they need to stretch out the RPI defense a little more, and some more opportunities might come their way.
Yeah, it was a nice move, we'll say, from Kate Gagan again. She's gotten up that right wing. She got past Moreau that time, but wasn't able to get the cross away, as it's right back the other direction. Now here's Moreau pushing up a bit, but no, she'll let Gagan play. Playing on this right side, Gagan, she's shown some pretty good footwork on the ball. It's gotten her behind, as I said, Moreau a couple times, but nothing much has come from it. Here's some midfield play now from Plattsburgh. Now they'll try to work it down the middle for Hartman. Hartman with some pressure from Mann all the way back to the midfield line. That'll be a good battle to watch. Both Mann and Bethany Hansen against Hartman, who has worked her way all the way across the field. And now it's Moran. Good little 1-2. Comes wide. Moreau into a challenge. Wins it back. Trying to find Kaplan. And now she has some pressure on her back. Finding Richard. Jackie Richard. Good turn. Looking to find... that was Winslow on the far side, but there were two defenders there able to handle. Right back on the ball now. RPI, and they like to possess. Although this time, as I say that, Moreau just hammers it downfield. Settled in the midfield nicely by the Cardinals and played over the top. That's Ashley Guinness. But RPI takes it right back over. Harper wide for Kaplan. She'll check back into the midfield. Good challenge there. Kaplan stays on it. Can Richard keep it in? No. Throw in to the Cardinal. We do have a substitution coming up here. If they see it, which they do not, and they throw it in quickly, Plattsburgh State has a player ready to come on. Could have done it there, but not the case. We're seeing a little more possession both ways now. Maybe teams settling things down a bit, although that ball lost on the trap.
Well, the tireder you get,
Sicoccio, yeah,
the more you want the ball to do the work, needless to say.
Sicoccio let it run through her, but the Cardinals get a substitution here on the play. Sarah Height comes on. Forward. She's from East Meredith, New York. She checks into the game. Did she come on? I didn't see who she came on for, but we'll get that to you.
Yeah.
Under 20 to go in the first half. A couple of shots for RPI in this one. One real good save for Nicole Gibson.
I think that's arguably the best play of the game so far.
Oh, yeah.
Easily.
Certainly the best scoring chance we've seen. Sarah
Yeah.
Harper with an attempted goal. Doesn't have a goal yet this year, Harper. But yeah, it's been it so far. Engineers have gotten forward quite a bit. Throw into Mann. She'll take it here. In for Zempetta, heavy touch. And now Plattsburgh maybe look to use the wide side of the field. There's plenty of space over there. Moran back. Settling is Guinness. Pressure comes from Winslow. That's a real good turn from your center back Wallace to get it wide.
She didn't panic either.
Here's another clearance from RPI, headed in the air. Here's Knight to settle. A lot of pressure from Zempetta, but again, well played out of the back. You've seen it more and more, Colleen, I'm sure you grew up with this, but used to be it used to be in all-American soccer, but you put your least talented players on the back line, and their job was just to just clear things away. There's a shot to attempt there, and it was handled by Lyons. I'm sure you grew up in a time when center backs and outside backs were more skilled. As yourself, I'm not trying to pump your tires, being an outside back a bit, but it used to be when I was a kid too. Outside backs and defenders in general, you put your boomers, your big kids,
Yep.
and not a lot of skill. But we've seen a couple times here these center backs for Plattsburgh, and for RPI, able to settle the ball and make smart decisions on the ball.
Well, you see that a lot in youth soccer, especially because the kids who are really, want to go at it and get better, they tend to be more offensive minded. They want to be where the action's at, and that's usually on offense.
Right.
For me, when I was in college, I had a unique situation where I came in, I was recruited as a midfielder.
Okay.
And due to injuries, had to move to outside back, and then stayed there for 3 years. But it definitely, being a natural midfielder, I was much more offensive minded than a lot of outside backs tend to be.
Right.
To a point that one year, my dad was also my coach in college, and we didn't play with an outside midfielder on my side because I just went forward so often.
So you had to get forward. I mean, that's what this 4-3-3 kind of lets you do as well for both Steinmetz and Moreau. They're able to get forward and use those kind of offensive skills. And RPI has a midfielder in at center back. I'll tell you about in a moment as the throw-in comes in from Hansen, cleared away. Moreau has it here, some pressure on her back, trying to find Harper. She can't control. And back the other way comes Plattsburgh, coming over to sweep the ball away. Was Katie Mann, who played midfield all last year, but her kind of veteran presence and her ability on the ball, as well as her ball-winning ability, has her now playing center back for RPI. So one of the things I mentioned and what you mentioned there was that a lot of players, you grow up playing forward, midfield, playing college soccer, you have a chance to start every day. You maybe take a chance and play a defensive spot. It also helps the team when you have those offensive skills to get forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And plus it gives you more versatility as far as a team, as far as the style in which that you can play. I don't know about you tonight, but I haven't seen a whole lot of offensive-minded outside backs.
Okay, yeah.
Looks like an offsides call. Yep,
offside on Plattsburgh, yeah.
Not a whole lot of, usually you're going to see from those offensive players a lot of overlaps and whatnot, a lot of running on the outside. But so far, both these teams have had pretty conservative approaches to their back four and really making sure that they contain the offensive threats that are coming at them.
So we have a throw in here for RPI under 15 minutes. We're in the 30th minute of play. And we have another one coming for Steinmetz. Shots in the game are 4-3 RPI. Shots on goal 3-2. So when the attempts are coming, they are on goal. As Gibson's been challenged a bit more than Lyons has. Here's Richard. Tried to pull it back. Some pressure comes. She'll lay it off. Smart play. Mann will deal. What will she do with it? Oh. Step over from Morrow there, and RPI keeps the ball. Janine Morrow. Back for Richard. Trying to spray it wide. Steinmetz trying to get forward. Important ball to win there because she was caught a bit upfield. This allows the Engineers to kind of keep their shape and where they are at the offensive end, and now they've won a throw.
Yeah, going forward, if you're either team with how even this has been so far in the first 30 minutes, it'd be nice to get, even if you can't get a goal, at least get one or two good opportunities. That way going into halftime, everyone mentally is in a good place. They have a lot of confidence going forward that they can get it done at least in the second half.
Here's a ball in from Moreau again, settled by May. It looked like he was trying to fit it through quickly on a one-touch pass, and it did not go. Cleared away. And then just Mann making sure to get that ball out. It will be a throw for Sarah Height, the one substitution that's come on here for Plattsburgh in this game. Over the top. Mann left-footed away. It will be a throw-in right near the corner flag. Plattsburgh has proven to be the challenge that the Engineers were looking for in this game. Obviously, it's 6-1. A good start for RPI, but with league play coming up, they're playing a physical team that has some talent.
Another long throw.
Another long throw. So both teams able to kind of dish it out. There's a clearing effort by Hansen. Got charged right back to her. Another play towards the top of the box, although this time Harper does well to settle it. Through the midfield for May. Can she get a touch on it? Yes, but not where she wanted it to go. Chance for Winslow to break there. And now another ball towards Winslow. That one doesn't connect either. Zumpeta all the way back. She won't play. And lets May do it, but May gives it away. In the midfield, it's Wallace. Back for Moran, and all the way back to Knight. This could be trouble.
Look at that speed.
And then Kaplan, you can see her getting after it there. More pressure from Kaplan, and sliding to get rid of it was Gibson. And that's how she scored her first collegiate goal, mind you. Kaplan stole the ball from the goalie, who was trying to clear a ball. She blocked down the clearing effort, just took a little bit too much time, not anticipating she would get there that quickly.
Yeah.
And Kaplan knocked the ball down, had an easy tap-in goal from right in front of the goal line. That came against Farmingdale. That was the only goal of that game. And she's since scored 2 more times. She leads the team with those 3 goals. Now we have a throw coming. It's Perry Lascaris and Colleen Dempsey here. We're happy that you're joining us here. Monday night in Troy is a long throw from Hansen. Takes a hop. It kind of rolled up Richard, and it's able to be handled by the goalkeeper. Engineers win it back. It's Steph May. She has plenty of tricks in the bag as far as on the ball, and uses one of their step-overs there. Now a left-footed shot rolled in, and it's held by Nicole Gibson. Engineers putting some more balls on frame here. That's their 5th shot and their 4th on goal.
If anything, they've learned a lot this half. That Gibson in goal for Plattsburgh. She's not messing around, for lack of a better phrase. But
No, absolutely.
She came out to play tonight, and they're testing her, and she's proven that she's not going to let an easy ball in. It's going to have to be a great opportunity by RPI, and they're really going to have to take some solid shots at her.
Another cross in, stepping in, man. And the Cardinals will keep it, although they're recouping here, heading back into the midfield. Little 1-2 play there, top of the box. Steinmetz steps in. Ball cleared away by Moreau. Zumpeta does a nice job to shield there. Trying to lob it on for Winslow. Can she get to it? Might have been touched by the left back. I'm not sure. We'll find out quickly. Sarah Bonner out there. And no. They'll say it come off an RPI boot. Throw to the Cardinals. And that one out again off May. We have subs both ways. Looks like we have Zumpeta coming off, and Dahlia Larian comes on. She was one of the more talented strikers as well, but she's kind of nursing a little something coming back into play here. So Dahlia, a very physical, fast forward in there now for RPI, getting her last 9-10 minutes here of this game.
And coming on for Plattsburgh was Mia Tallarico, and she's number 14. She's a sophomore from Merrick, New York.
So a couple substitutions, one each way, and now a throw in here for Hansen. Although it's at midfield, she'll give it her all up the wing. Alarian trying to get there, and they're going to call a foul on Dahlia Alarian here. And yeah, she was banged up first couple games of the season. Trying to keep her on the field is important for RPI if they have hopes of, making it into the postseason. They've shown their depth, and that's great, but you want to have your most talented players on the field when you can.
Absolutely, and you need to have those key players as far as who you're going to go to when you need those goals and opportunities.
There's a ball swept away. They're looking to find Kaplan. And she kind of raises her hand, gives a little wave, understanding the ball was there, and that's good to have that kind of visual and vocal communication between attacking players when you're trying to kind of sort through this defense.
Yeah, absolutely, and she's proven to be quite a bit of trouble for this Plattsburgh defense. Her work ethic has been absolutely outstanding thus far.
Kaplan has those 3 goals, and looking to try and get something going here. In towards the goalkeeper, and it's cleared away. That time Gibson was maybe caught in no man's land there. She couldn't quite get to the ball, and then when you're trapped like that as a goalkeeper, you kind of panic. Luckily for her, she had some help from her defense there to clear it out.
Yeah, lots of bodies.
Lots to deal with. Looking at beautiful East Campus Stadium. It says 63 degrees. Feels about right.
Yeah. Couldn't ask for more on an early fall night.
A little bit of a breeze. I'm sure the players love it. This is kind of, I love to play right around 60, maybe even a little bit cooler, as far as keeping your body temperature cool when you're running around for 90 minutes.
And it's good sweatshirt weather if you're on the bench, so can't complain then.
Absolutely not. Absolutely can't complain. 7.5 to go in the first half. RPI and Plattsburgh. Talk about Nicole Gibson. She started all 7 games. She has decisions in 7 of 8, I guess. She has decisions in 7 of them. She's 5-2. But no shutouts for her. You look at the other end of the field, and Joey Lyons has 4 shutouts. RPI actually has 5. She and Tori Riopel combined for 1. So just 1 shutout in 8 games for Plattsburgh. They obviously score a lot of goals. We mentioned that 8th in the country in scoring offense coming into play today. And on the other side of things, you have this team, RPI, which does not give up goals. So that's been kind of the storyline so far, and it's both teams kind of proven their abilities a bit. Plattsburgh's gotten forward a few times, and but nothing the Engineers' defense hasn't been able to handle, really. So here is Steinmetz trying to work it up the wing for Winslow. We have 2 more subs coming for RPI.
Yeah, and that was Sococcio, number 10 for Plattsburgh, out again on the left side, really trying to create some havoc out there. We've seen her a few times at the top of the box get some touches and look like she may get through to get a shot off, but she hasn't had a great opportunity so far. However, I think going forward in the second half, Plattsburgh should try to use her a little more. She's got a lot of athleticism, and she plays very physical, as do most of the players in the SUNYAC.
Absolutely. Here's Dahlia Larian getting the ball for the first time. A couple of moves to get free, although there were 2 Cardinals she had to deal with, and in the end the ball goes out for a throw. But still 6 minutes left in the half, an important part of any half, really any game. You're talking about the beginning and end of periods, beginning and end of halves. A lot of momentum can be drawn here from scoring a goal late. As we have, looks like Kaplan, who's moved all the way across to the right now. Trying to find Alarian. There's a tackle there. Alarian went down. Ball out for another throw. We'll see if they bring Hansen forward. They do. So Hansen provides really extra corners for your team. If you can throw the ball into the 6, you're looking for a little bit of maybe a flick-on header and someone in the back post. I guess ideally that's the kind of ideal situation here you'd want from this. It's kind of tough to get the initial header on goal from where she can get it to.
Yeah, but you can get a good flick-on opportunity.
There's the ball played right back to her. Hansen in, and then turned in maybe a shot there. I think she was trying to cross it, but it went out for a goal kick. It's Plattsburgh and RPI. You're watching RPI TV. We'd like to thank you once again for everyone joining us here on this, we call it Monday Night Football, if you will. Of course, there's plenty of other things going on in the world tonight, including I believe the presidential debates are coming up a little later. Yeah?
9 o'clock, yeah.
Well, this is
in New York.
Perfect pregame material then, of course.
Yeah.
If you're checking out a little RPI Plattsburgh soccer. I'm sure there's a American football game going on later as well.
Yeah, but this will get you in the mood.
But right, this will get this is a better game, exactly, right? What is it? It might be the Falcons and somebody, I don't know.
You know.
I do know.
I don't.
I'm pretending I don't know.
Oh.
Here's Steph May playing it across. It's going to be controlled here. This is Clara Johnson into the game for RPI. And Johnson, she's given RPI some good minutes. Another one of these freshmen. There are plenty of them on this RPI team in this midfield. But she's done a great job coming on in situations like this and kind of just continuing to do whenever you can sub a player in and they continue to do what at least what the starters were able to do, if not add a little different dimension, it helps the team immensely because they're fresh as well.
Absolutely. And a women's soccer player that comes to mind for me, and she just had her retirement game, is Heather O'Reilly. She was definitely one of those players for the U.S. women's national team, especially in the last 5 years or so. She didn't necessarily get a ton of playing time, but when she did, she gave a huge spark to the national team when she would come on and really create some havoc out there for 10, 20 minutes that she was out there, and it really inspired her teammates to keep pushing forward and have that energy.
Absolutely, and of course O'Reilly, she was on the national team at a very young age, and I think that kind of helped her kind of establish herself on the team, because you know that there's plenty of competition, as there is on any soccer team, really.
Yeah.
No matter what level you're playing, there's plenty of competition for playing time, and I think she was on the U.S. national team when there was plenty of talent to go around, as there seemingly
the
always
99ers
is.
were there.
Yeah,
They were ending her career. She started at 17. And,
yep.
Obviously, you don't see a lot of teams where you've got young 17-year-olds with 35-year-old moms.
Absolutely. There's a shot blocked. It came off the foot of Moran. The Engineers were able to not allowed to get anywhere near Lions, as Katya Kradanova, who's also into the game for RPI, plays it backwards. Now Knight having to deal with Olarian here. Gets kind of spun around. Looked like Olarian may have held her on the arm, and now they continue to go at it. After the fact, Moreau couldn't quite find May, or the Engineers might have had a chance, although May nearly steals it back. It's played wide. Settled out there by Sococcio. Working on Steinmetz. She'll play it over the top. This is a good ball in. Out comes Lyons. She's so good at reading plays just like that. We see it again from Joey Lyons. She was only forced to make 2 saves last week in those games. She did allow a goal. From what I've heard, it was a pass back to her that turned into a chance and a goal for Manhattanville, or else she wouldn't have given up anything. And if you throw that goal away, which, I'm not really in the business of throwing goals away per se.
Yeah.
She's only given up a penalty kick to the number 1 team in the country. And that goal, she'll probably tell you she wants back because she just dove the wrong way.
Absolutely.
On a ball that wasn't hit with all that much pace. So, so she's had a great start to her collegiate career as well. She's very aggressive. She's not very big, but she can jump and she can get to the crossbar and deflect some of those high shots over the top of the net. So RPI, I believe, has found a pretty good one here. And of course, the backup Tori Rappel, she was a starter all last year, and she's proven herself as well. So the Engineers are in a good spot at goalkeeper. Also in the midfield, we've seen injuries, including today. Castrolon going down, but RPI plugging more and more players in, and they continue to kind of run this system. Here's Hansen with a long throw. Out comes the keeper again. It's cleared towards the top of the box. May heads it on. Cleared out again. And you have these one-on-one battles here. Mann going towards the sideline with height. And RPI wins the throw. 22 seconds to go in the half. And this one kind of flew by, Colleen.
Yeah.
But maybe a chance here.
Ooh.
There's a ball slotted in. Height trying to get there, and a foot race with, it looks like Mann. Shot comes. Easy stop there for Lions, who was in the right place and just handled it. She'll punt it away.
Getting that shot off is big, though, for Plattsburgh, since they haven't had much offense, dangerous offense, rather, in the last 20 minutes compared to RPI. So getting that shot off in the last couple of seconds definitely puts the team in a good place mentally going forward.
Shots in the first half we have as 5-4 RPI, 3-2 in terms of shots on goal. Corners, just 1 apiece. Fouls, there was only 2 fouls in the half, 1 each way. Everything really balanced. I guess that's what you should expect, but not always expect from a 0-0 game. There are plenty of 0-0 games that are lopsided, just 1 team can't score. Not necessarily the case here. RPI with a couple of the chances, the better of the chances in that first 45 minutes. But Colleen, I'm sure you'll agree that both teams have shown signs of getting forward. It wasn't like the field was necessarily tilted in one direction all too much, although RPI did, as the kind of half went on, had a little more of the possession of play.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting going forward to see how each team changes their tactics after one half of play. Obviously, we talked about how even it was, but I think Plattsburgh needs to be a little stronger in the midfield. They didn't hold a lot of control necessarily in that area of the field, and didn't necessarily, at times, put their forwards in position when they could have. So I think going forward, if they can string a few more passes together and maybe switch fields a little more in the midfield, I think they'll be a little more dangerous.
The Plattsburgh Cardinals have already played the one league game against SUNY Potsdam. They won 3-0, so a good start to their league season. The Engineers, I mentioned it, they're the only team in the Liberty League to not have played a game in the conference. They're 6-1 out of conference, and still, I guess, another non-conference game here. They have a couple more to go. So coming up schedule-wise, before we go to our break here at halftime, it's Oswego State and SUNY Cortland. So another couple of challenges coming up for Plattsburgh this weekend, and the Engineers have their own couple challenges in RIT, always a skilled team, and the number 2 team in the country, William Smith, who coincidentally or not, the alma mater of RPI's head coach, Breland Nasipany, and one of her assistants, Mary Claire Peltier, are both William Smith grads. So I'm sure Saturday here at ECAV will be one that will be very exciting for all parties involved. This is, obviously, when you have playing against your alma mater is always a tough one, I think, for coaches to kind of deal with. But of course, you want to beat them because you want to beat your old coach.
Yeah, of course, it's exciting. Yeah, and the players sense it too. They know what's at stakes as far as bragging rights or just really, coach wanting to show what they're all about and maybe what they've been taught by their previous coach at their alma mater and how that might have translated into their own unique coaching style now. So I think it'll be fun. There will be a lot of energy and excitement.
Absolutely. We are going to take a quick break and step aside for just a little bit. We'll have the second half of RPI and Plattsburgh coming up. Once again, I'm Perry Lascaris. Joining me this evening, thank you, Colleen, for coming by. We will have that second half in just a few minutes here. Your score at the break, once again, is RPI nothing and Plattsburgh nothing. You're watching RPI Women's Soccer on RPI TV.
Yes. This camera is also live at the moment, so up and out. So put this on. So you want to talk about it.
And then what does camera 2 mainly do? Like I know one is like wide shot.
Yeah, so one's wide shot, 2, 3, and 4, they're all doing the same thing. They're trying to get shots, close to our shots. You were on replay, just because this was a madhouse today, we weren't really focusing on replay too much. But you're trying to get replay shots.
Back to live action here. Well, RPI TV never left. Second half underway. Perry Lascaris and Colleen Dempsey here as they're just underway in the second. Engineers now playing from left to right across your screens. It's a beautiful night here in Troy, New York. If you're not familiar with the region. Upstate about 2.5 hours. You drive pretty quickly from New York City. And it's RPI and Plattsburgh. In order to get to Plattsburgh, you have to drive another 3.5 hours straight north on I-87. Engineers with the ball. It's a great ball played through the middle, and the second one over the top. Trying to run onto it here is Kaplan, and she overran the ball. That was a quick strike attack there from RPI. I think it was man into Zempetta, and then I think it was May who just hammered it over the top to Kaplan, and she tried to kind of lead it on with her thigh and kind of step past the ball, and it slowed up all her momentum, and the Cardinals were able to recover.
Yeah, that was Alex Benjamin in the back for SUNY Plattsburgh to help break that up. And right now, she has the most starts of any freshman for Plattsburgh. She started 7 out of their 8 games. So even though she's young, she's clearly proven to be a defensive asset for the Cardinals.
Here's the left winger now. Good move here. That was Sacaccio. Just ran right by Steinmetz, but the Engineers doing a good job here to recover and not allow a chance there. Here now Winslow trying to drop it off for Richard. She'll smash it into the corner again and see Kaplan run.
Benjamin going after it again. Let's see if she can get byline or Benjamin can keep her out.
In for May, and might be out for a corner here. Looks like she got a toe on it, and it is a corner kick to RPI, just their second of the game.
That was Mia Tallarico kicking that out and preventing any sort of an RPI second chance for a goal.
And I'm like, okay, so where is
So it'll be Steinmetz all the way across from her right back spot to take the corner.
Oh, just kidding. I think that's Plattsburgh's defender.
Another in-swinger, punched away, left-footed shot along the ground, rebound, knocked out, another corner coming. Steph May with a left-footed shot. She got quite a bit on it, took a couple of deflections on its way through, and it was Kaplan at that left post trying to redirect it in. But again, making the stop is Gibson, but good early pressure here from RPI as the folks back home get another chance to see the shot. And another play by Kaplan. There's the ball headed on towards the back post, and it will be cleared.
Going back to that previous corner kick, I don't think people understand what Gibson did in goal, how hard that was for her to find the ball with that many bodies in front of her, with that much chaos, and then be able to get on top of it and make sure the ball went out of bounds instead of rebounding again. Very difficult.
Kaplan, shot coming, and I think it's a shot, but it'll be kept in by Winslow. It was May who kind of hit with her left again, and came off the top of her foot. Now ball played in, staying onside, but not what she wanted crosswise from Winslow.
Yeah, that was a great give and go. Next time, when she goes and plants hard to make that cross, get her hips around all the way, and that'll stay in bounds.
Right, and it's something, of course, that of course the team works on, keeping those kind of crosses in play. I know they're working on some combination play up and down the wings this week in practice, and stuff like that is will help you in those type situations. Obviously didn't pan out there. Here's May playing it across. Moreau, nice job to win that one. She'll try to lay it off for Harper. Good speed shown in the midfield defensively. That is Wen, who's on the wing there, and she's kind of tucked in now. Wen is, as is Sacaccio on the other side. Maybe playing a little bit more central, trying to win some more balls there. Where they were playing a little wider. We'll see if that continues here, or they're just doing that when they do not have the ball, which could be the case as well. Here's Kaplan laying it off. The quick feet of May. Gets double team, plays it off for Harper. Harper, we'll see what she does. She gives it right away. Trying to work it ahead for Hartman, and they really haven't found Hartman either in dangerous positions or at all here so far. So maybe they'll try to drop her back. I know that's a tactic. When you have a center striker who's not getting the ball a lot, drop them back a little more into the midfield to see if they can get some more touches on the ball at least.
Yeah. But oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that, but then you kind of lose their attacking ability. Yeah. Sacoccio, won back by Steinmetz. They've had a good battle all game, by the way.
Oh, yeah. It's been great to watch.
Here's Zempetta.
I think if I'm Plattsburgh, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
But
go ahead.
If I'm Plattsburgh's coach going forward at halftime, I was probably going to talk about when they have had those opportunities outside to get crosses off. They've gotten the crosses off, but there haven't been any bodies in the box compared to RPI when they are getting those crosses off. It's not just one player. It's 2 or 3, and they're in dangerous positions. Plattsburgh needs to be, I think, a little more offensive-minded, get some more bodies in the box, and give those wingers more opportunities as far as trying to find people.
Yeah, Sacoccio has looked dangerous up this left wing, and this time it was Hartman who came all the way over. Cardinals winning a throw in the offensive third here, or nearing it. Hartman trying to flick it on, or excuse me, make that Wen, but is a little bit too tall for her, and a goal kick for Joey Lyons and RPI.
Yeah, some of those balls when you're playing at night under the lights can be a little bit difficult to judge depending on if it's behind the lights or not.
But getting to Lyons, who's taking the goal kick here. She and RPI set the school record for shutout minutes to start a season, and nearly 500. They had shutouts in their first 4 games. Had never happened before. And so this is a club that defensively, we've seen it. They then, in their 5th game, ran into Williams, who, aside from that PK, would have been another scoreless game, seemingly. Obviously, you don't know what happens if they don't score. I believe they scored in the second half of that game. Did Williams in the 72nd or 3rd minute, but it kind of changes the complexion, I guess. But the Engineers had their chances in that one, and they've had them here. We'll see how they respond to being in a 0-0 game as this game moves along.
That's probably the best off-ball movement we've seen on a throw-in by Plattsburgh. For the most part, there's a lot of players that are kind of looking around, expecting other gals to make some runs, and that was nice for thrower Sarah Bonner to get some open players. Yeah.
Get some help when you're trying to throw a ball, and it doesn't help if everyone kind of stands around.
Yeah, or if they all run to the same place. It makes it easy to defend.
Here's Winslow. What does she do with this? She'll try to work it up the sideline. We'll see if she has better luck with a cross. It's along the floor, and it will be played out by, I believe, Knight on the near side. Throw in coming here, and giving away a throw in to RPI here is not exactly the same as giving away a throw in to other teams, because we've talked about it before, but they do have Hansen in this situation. She'll run all the way back to the cement wall in front of the stands to throw this one in.
Yeah, watch the near post for a flick on.
There is Winslow, kind of hit backwards. Now Moreau has pressure coming, left-footed ball lobbed on. Oh, played right to May, who has a lot of room and space here for Kaplan. Kaplan likes to work the ball to her right foot. She'll drop it off for May, right-footed try, and again, they've gotten May in some spots top of the box. She does have a shot, but she hasn't really caught any of them as cleanly as she'd like to. Maybe off the one corner when she had a left-footed try that Gibson made a nice stop on. That was kind of it. Other than that, she's popped a couple up, and she hasn't hit cleanly But the more chances you give Steph May, you don't want to kind of put yourself in that situation if you are Plattsburgh.
No, and absolutely. And as far as RPI's front line is concerned, it's difficult to pick one player to maybe isolate and focus on. Whereas you have teams like Plattsburgh where you know that Hartman's the go-to gal, and you definitely need to know where she's at all times. RPI, on the other hand, has 3 very even players as far as their talent, their work level, and physicality go.
Yeah.
So defensively, that can be a little intimidating because you can't give a little on any of them.
A little bit of miscommunication there. That was Kate Gagan. She's been great on the ball, I think. Gagan, she's gotten up the right flank in that first half, and there she kind of cut her way through the RPI midfield. When it was finally time to play the ball, she didn't have anyone kind of making any off-the-ball runs, and she wasn't able to get a ball across. Here's Kaplan into the box, trying to drop it back.
Wow.
Out again comes Gibson, sliding it away, but not out of the woods. Zampetta, top of the box. Here is Harper. Back for Zampetta. She's onside. Ball in, chested down, and cleared by Knight. Now Katie Mann. In for Richard. That's a good turn. Getting it wide for Kaplan. Tried to cut it back. And here's Kaplan driving end line once more. Cuts it back to her right. Drops it back for May. Ball in front, looking for Winslow. It's cleared. Now Moreau again. Engineers knocking on the door here.
Yeah, Winslow's pretty sneaky on that back post.
You see why she has the couple of goals this year, and she's the active points leader for RPI.
Well, she's timing her runs very well. She's not making them too early, and she's not making them too late, and so that's making her it's easy to forget about her because of that.
Absolutely. 15 career goals here at RPI for the senior from Ballston Spa, Corey Winslow. As I mentioned earlier, the league's offensive performer of the week. She had 2 goals and 2 assists, her first 6 points of the season over the last 2 games against Hartwick and Manhattanville. She'll battle for that one along the touchline and win a throw for the Engineers. Still a lot of time to go in this game. And just really 56 minute. Here is Zampetta. They leave her alone. She is given time to turn and spins around again.
I think that was a little bit of miscommunication on Plattsburgh's part.
Here is Harper. Had RPI's best chance in the first half. Hit a curling right-footed shot away from the goalkeeper Gibson, who made a leaping save to tip it over the crossbar. Now Moreau trying from here, tipped over again. That's nearly where Moreau scored her first collegiate goal from, maybe a little bit further out.
And Winslow on that back post again, curling. I don't know if those of you at home saw, but as soon as she saw the ball hit, she made that flat run and then curved immediately towards the goal to crash it. Had that ball stayed in bounds, she would have had it without a defender on her. Plattsburgh needs to clean that up and stick with her.
Yep, she's sneaky as you saw. And as Colleen mentioned, Winslow, a lot of times you'll see it with seniors. They're much better at kind of timing those runs. There's a ball headed on. That was Katie Mann, the center back, who got the shot on goal and able to rise up for that header. Wasn't too highly contested, and it was another good ball from Maddie Steinmetz. And now a ball won in the midfield. It's Hartman on the loose. Hansen cuts her off. And Bethany Hansen, who was named to the Liberty League honor roll for her play last week, and really just an example of what this defensive group has done for RPI against the 2 teams they played. Now played through by Winslow. Way out to play is Gibson, and she just cleared that one away. Anywhere you can put that one is fine for the Cardinals. Go ahead.
Yeah, big thing for her is that I don't know if she had this in mind when she made that play, but knowing that RPI has that really strong throw coming from deep in Plattsburgh territory, making that throw far away, kicking that ball far away from the box, prevented a corner-like opportunity.
Good point. With Hansen lurking, here is Winslow. Bit of a hospital wall back for Richard. Allows Hartman to take. That was one back and played between the 2 defenders, Moreau and Hansen. Worked wide by Moran, although RPI wins it back. May for Richard, lobbed over the top again. Steph May trying to find it, And it's Knight to come over and play. We'll see what she does to deal with this ball. She'll just play it into the RPI bench area.
Plattsburgh needs to do a better job of possessing the ball moving forward. You can start to see their back line is getting a little tired with all these 1v1 opportunities that Rensselaer has. So we definitely need to see a little more from the midfield and forwards from Plattsburgh and try to give their defense a chance to catch their breath a little.
There's a good ball in, maybe a little bit too far away for Winslow to try and put on frame. She did her best, kind of headed backwards or towards the goal with the back of her head as the ball came in from Moreau. But RPI trying kind of different angles to get the ball into dangerous areas. That one not quite what they wanted, but again, you're creating these opportunities, and any kind of bounce could potentially go your way.
Absolutely.
Throw in here, they'll give it to Hansen. As I mentioned, Fullerton, California. So when the temperature dips down into the 60s and below that, I don't think she's quite as happy as when it was earlier in August and September, but throw some layers
rain?
on. Yeah, what's that?
How does she feel about rain? They don't get a lot of that.
No,
out there.
not in California, no, but I think she's a junior now, so I think she's used to the upstate New York winters.
Oh, good.
In which we can get to in a hurry, as we're almost to October, believe it or not. And hockey season has already begun here at RPI, so the cold weather, I'm sure, is coming soon. Although we didn't have much of a winter last year, I'm sure she was happy. And most people, I guess, who don't enjoy the cold were happy about that. Here's a ball played by the aforementioned Hansen. Gave it right to Sacaccio. She makes another nice move. On the run now. Played wide, and Moreau intercepts that and clears it away.
She needed somebody on the left, the left side of the field there to help her out, because they did a good job cutting off her right foot. They needed either the outside back or midfielder to make an overlapping run and give her an opportunity to make that pass to the left.
Played on by Wen. And Mann can only clear it as far as the next Cardinal player. Now it's towards the box. Moreau left foots it away. Edge of the 18 now. Plattsburgh trying to create something. It's Moran. Playing it wide. Cross blocked out for no.
Wow.
Thought it was a corner, but no one argued there, and the linesman points towards the net. Goal kick. So they obviously have the better angle than
someone
we
say
do.
he had a better
about,
view.
I would say we're about 80, 100 yards away.
Yeah.
And about 5 stories up.
Yeah, supposedly it was right in front of him. That's just what I heard, but
we won't question that.
no.
Here is Plattsburgh once more. Working it into Hartman. Hartman gets a chance to turn and plays it wide. On the dribble, it is Gagan. Good battle here between Gagan, the junior, and the freshman. Here now, Sacoccio into the box. Shot blocked, still loose, and now Lions. An extra kick there from Hartman, and I don't think the RPI players like that too much, but it eventually is Joey Lyons, and that as dangerous as Plattsburgh's looked all day, Sacoccio with a chance right in front of goal. We get another chance to look at it here.
And that's why you need those numbers in the box, like I was talking earlier. When Hartman made a cross.
Hartman.
Yeah, oh boy.
Hartman with a chance.
She's hungry for a goal, I think, to say the least.
Yeah, you can sense a little bit maybe of frustration there.
Yeah.
That was her first chance, and when Lyons had the ball, she gave it another whack, and if I'm the referee, at least say something to her.
If I had to guess, he probably didn't see it, because there were quite a few bodies.
That's true.
Entangled there.
But that's something you just don't do. If I was an RPI player too, I might have taken some exception to that more than they did. But maybe they didn't see it. They might not have seen it either.
Oh,
anyway,
well, they'll hear about it after the game.
At RPI on the run, it's Kaplan again, and she goes down, and it's out for a goal kick.
And that was Alex Benjamin, that freshman outside back I was talking about earlier. Really battling hard with Kaplan and proving to be an equal foe.
No, what is Lyons saying here to Hansen? She came all the way out of her goal. You can't see it on screen. It's to our left.
Yeah.
But she came all the way out and said something to Bethany Hansen. It might be a coverage thing. I'm not sure. Yeah. But it could have been anything, I guess. But chances on both ends. Maybe calls for penalties. Maybe not granted. Maybe probably correctly not granted on either end. But there were some opportunities for sure. Players going down in the box, and you always kind of hold your breath if that happens. Is the referee going to blow his whistle? You never know. Here is May into Kaplan, dropping it back. Richard Ball a little bit too far away from her reach. And Sacoccio comes to help out defensively. Playing it on for Wen. Can Plattsburgh counter? Ambitious ball right to Hansen, but Hansen says try again. And gives it right back to Wen. Sacoccio likes to work the ball to her left there and trying to slot it through for Hartman. A little bit better here from Plattsburgh. They're getting the ball forward. They're getting the ball on Hartman's foot, and they're getting Sacoccio in space, which is what you want, it seemingly.
Absolutely, and she's working for every ball that she's getting to. Even though she's playing that high winger position, you see her coming back for a lot of balls on defense and really putting forward a great defensive effort and trying to get Plattsburgh on the counterattack.
Here is Richard. Playing it wide. May turns into pressure a bit, but plays it back for Richard. Now Kaplan turning, looking for a right-footed shot. Kaplan wide of goal. Didn't look like it troubled Gibson too much as she didn't make much of an effort for. We don't have the best angle to see the flight of that shot, but Kaplan getting in a dangerous spot there. And there is Igor Vamos, a couple of the cameramen. The camera folks here today, some of Igor's class students here at RPI, so getting a chance to see what RPI TV is all about, along with the RPI TV crew, as Winslow just gets turned inside out by Sacoccio, and then Sacoccio goes and gives the ball away.
Yeah.
All for nothing.
Yeah. You hate to see somebody work that hard and beat a defender and then make what would presumably be a fairly easy pass out of bounds.
Corey Winslow, for all of her energy and her pace, sometimes goes a little bit overboard, and that time you saw it, she kind of ran herself into the ground trying to chase down Sacoccio, but that just kind of comes with the territory.
Yeah. Going forward here as well, I've been very impressed with the officiating crew as far as not calling a lot, letting these ladies play and really getting physical, because unfortunately you see a lot of times in women's soccer when it gets a little physical, the officials have a tendency, even though it wasn't a foul, to
try and find fouls where they weren't there.
To try to find fouls and not really let the game be as physical as it necessarily should be. So it's nice. As you can tell, that's something I'm pretty sensitive about.
Absolutely.
I love to see good physical play.
Hey, I completely agree with you. It could be expanded as far as other sports as well, hockey and basketball. Women's sports are getting more and more physical. The players are getting stronger.
We're tough, man.
They are. You guys are tough. Let them play.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Anyway, here's the ball thrown in to Zampetta. She does a nice job to win it. Get it wide for Kaplan, and now back for Mann. A little bit of stagnation, I will say, from RPI offensively. They're moving the ball, but they need to do a little better job moving off the ball, as we have seen Winslow do, but other teammates need to kind of follow suit. And now she wins the ball. Winslow battling here, and she continues to work down that sidelines to throw for Plattsburgh, but not for lack of effort that we've seen from Corey Winslow for really her whole 4 years here. She went to Ballston Spa High School, just up the road here, up 87, north of Clifton Park. Here's Hartman smashing it forward. Kind of misplayed by Mann, but knew that Lyons was back there. She'll handle it briefly. Playing it, flying the.
I wonder if Hartman knew how much time she had with the ball, as far as how much space she had, how many people were around her. And if she didn't, then her teammates need to do a better job of communicating that. Because obviously she can switch the ball to either side of the field, and she might have been able to find a second runner that was a little more available.
Ball cleared by Knight, headed on by Moreau. RPI trying to settle things down. That pass by Hansen off the mark. And that'll allow Sacoccio to take over. She's been an absolute handful to deal with on this left side, and she has it here.
Loves that scissors.
Absolutely. Steinmetz does a good job there, kind of backing off and letting her say, go ahead and dribble in front of me. I'm not going to let you pass. And in the end, RPI, at least for a moment, won the ball back. Ball now being played through the midfield.
Well, Sacoccio's proven that she's got speed and she's not afraid to take people on. So as a defender, knowing that she has those 1v1 moves, I think you would, how I would approach it anyway, I'd rather keep her in front.
Absolutely, yeah.
And force her to make a play rather than go a little too hard on the defensive end.
I think Steinmetz kind of maybe learned the hard way. First couple times going in to try and play her tight, and she got by her. That time Milos maybe learning a bit there, Steinmetz, as that was, I believe, Moreau trying to make a run forward. Now she'll have to backtrack here from her left back spot and does a admirable job to get the ball back for RPI, although they nearly give it right away. Ball retention not as good here in the second half for RPI, and they're going to want to try and clean that up. We'll see if we get a substitution soon. It looks like Dahlia Larian's warming up, so we may see her come on back for Zempeda, where she came on for in the first half with a little bit of success. Here is Plattsburgh on it, stolen away by Harper, and now May with the step over. Has Moreau running. Can she find her? A little bit of a heavy ball, but looks like it's well weighted in the end. I thought it might have gotten away. And now it's actually Kaplan, I beg your pardon, running onto that one. And it'll run out for a throw. Whose is it is the question. If it's RPI's, they can substitute. And
well, it looks like they both have subs. So
they
no
do.
Matter,
You're right.
No matter.
You're right. I did not see the Cardinal player hiding up top. That looks like it's Height again. So Height, who came on for she came on for Hartman in the first half. That's Sarah Height. Does it again here with 20 minutes left. We'll see if they come back with Hartman. I have to imagine they probably will. Substitution rules allowing that to happen. Here's a ball maybe slipped out of the hand. Didn't quite make it to the edge of the 6 from Hansen. Now Alarian just swinging her leg at that one. Caught one of the defenders, but we play on. Moreau playing it through the middle. Looked like Kaplan might have been offside. Ball never came to her.
Not to take anything away from RPI's defense tonight, but Plattsburgh has been giving the ball away a lot in the middle and their offensive thirds. They need to really clean up the possession.
Yeah, I mean, you can. RPI's played good defense this year, but if you just give the ball to them, it makes their job a little bit easier.
Oh, absolutely.
It makes it a little bit easier.
Well, they don't have to do as much running.
Right.
They don't have to do as much battling as far as you know, how sore their muscles are going to be from running into each other.
Right.
So it definitely makes a difference as far as the longevity of the game.
Just like the amount of work you have to do, exactly.
Yeah.
There's the ball played by Gibson. She plays it right to May. May now. She'll make a move into the box. Looks across here. Nobody on the back post. She kind of stole the ball so quickly, I don't think anyone had time to react, including Winslow, who usually is on that back door, but she was a good 20, 25 yards upfield as the substitution is coming on here. It looks like Clara Johnson on for Harper. So Dahlia Larian is in the game for Zempeda. Allie Zempeda putting in her work. She's put in a workmanlike effort all year from that center striker spot, just kind of holding up play, winning balls, and finding teammates to kind of play off of. Now Alarian wide for Winslow. A little miscommunication with Johnson, but now Johnson on it. Clara Johnson into the feet of Alarian. Good turn by Dahlia Alarian. Trying to get across, and it skims wide. She had Knight right on her hip, and that's something we'll have to watch for the final 18 or so minutes of this game, is the athletic Dahlia Alarian bodying up with Knight. We have another sub here coming on. It's going to be for Plattsburgh. Looks like their right winger. I believe that is Gagan.
Yeah, she came off.
Gagan off, yeah. We'll get you the sub in a moment. It is Cami Keyser.
It's a great name. Lots of alliteration.
Absolutely. She's on, I believe, for the first time. Now Kaplan, a shot. She scores! Emily Kaplan from the top of the box, and it's 1-0 RPI.
And nobody tonight deserves that goal more than Kaplan. She's been working so hard on the outside, whether it's making opportunities for herself or for her teammates.
Another look at the goal. She's gotten into that spot a few times, and that time she just put her foot through it and smashed it into the top right corner. And for all the great saves Nicole Gibson has, I don't want to say she wants it back because it was hit so well. It was struck so hard.
Oh, there's nothing she can do.
I don't know if she could have gotten to it anyway.
Yeah, I don't think so.
What a hit there. She kind of recoiled as to say, maybe surprised by how hard it was hit. You can just kind of tell by her body language. Goodness, what a shot by Emily Kaplan. She smashed one in at the other end of the field earlier this year.
Yeah, Gibson's 5'5", so I'm not really sure if she would have. She plays like she's more 5'10", if anything, but Yeah, that 5'5" frame can only get you so much. You can't grow your wingspan, unfortunately, but hopefully Plattsburgh feels inspired by that, and maybe we'll see some of that legendary RPI overtime.
For RPI's sake and for their fans, I'm sure they hope it's behind them. She scored a goal in a 3-0 win here against New Paltz at the other end. It was almost an identical play. She stole a goal kick at the top of the box, right-footed shot, hit to the far post, and yeah, when she gets her foot behind one, as May, we've seen her take a couple of shots that she really just hasn't connected on. But when Kaplan can put her right foot through one, it's tough to stop. And yeah, I didn't want to take anything away from the way Gibson's played. Maybe she has another crack. Maybe she gets a chance to get off the ground, but she looks like she was just kind of frozen on that shot.
Honestly, she's the reason. She is definitely the reason it wasn't 1 or 2-0 earlier.
Absolutely. Here's a corner kick now for Plattsburgh, trying to equalize over the top of the net. And that one was close. The in-swinger, always a little bit dangerous. I'm sure for the few times I've actually played goalkeeper, those are scary. When the ball's coming towards you and you realize you probably should be a little closer to the middle of the net and you're not, you kind of hold your breath there, and that's maybe what Lyons did, although she very confident, looked like she may have had it covered anyway.
Yeah, and on Plattsburgh's end, anytime the ball's not even put in play,
yep.
Whether you're the one who kicked it or the one waiting for it or the goalkeeper watching your teammates, you just go, ugh. There's no other sound that describes it more.
Team leading 4th goal of the season for Emily Kaplan, the freshman from Smithtown, New York. Her parents hosted the team when they were out there for the season opening Rams Classic hosted by Farmingdale State. So not only did she score a goal in her first collegiate game, as now Winslow gets free and it's cleared away, and Plattsburgh scrambling just a bit now that they're down a goal. RPI trying to add to it here. 14:45 to go in this game, and yeah, so really kind of a dream opening weekend for Kaplan, and it's continued as she continues to put balls in the net. As I mentioned, her 4th of the year, now 8 points on the season, takes over the team lead from Winslow. Another corner for RPI now. Steinmetz in, flick on header. It was Richard flying in. Just got the top of her head on it. Flicked out, and it will be a throw for RPI. Man over to take it. Excuse me. Corners in the game, 5-2 RPI. Shots are now 17-6. So things have kind of opened up. They were 5-5 at halftime, and that really an indication of how the Engineers have put the pressure on in the second half.
And even more impressive, as we said at the beginning of the game, such a young team. The fact that they can come out at halftime just really straight out of the gate. I believe they got a shot in the first minute or two of the half.
They were working Kaplan down that left wing. They kind of wore out the turf on the far side in front of their bench area, just flying up that wing. There were lobbing balls over the top. May was able to find one. Richard playing balls in. And when you have midfielders that can play with touch, that ball over the top, it's so crucial. As maybe on the other end, Plattsburgh not able to play as accurate a ball for their players to run out to.
Yeah. And RPI's had a great composure as well as far as their patience is concerned. They're looking for the second and third runs and not just taking the first one as their only option. Oh,
Sacoccio there again. Fancy feet there. She couple of step overs, but the Engineers kind of threw bodies at her there and said, beat 3 of our defenders, and she wasn't able to do quite that.
Yeah, and you can see she's getting frustrated. The hands on the head. She knows that she can beat all these defenders, but trying to beat 3 of them at one time is hard for anybody.
But that's, I guess, defensively what you kind of have to do when you have a player like that. It was Bonner getting up that left wing. Stepping into it was Richard, flicks it over her own head to herself.
If I had to guess, they're starting to defend Sacoccio like they probably planned on defending Hartman.
Absolutely. Well, it's a little bit easier when Hartman's not in the game. Let's see if May can find the run of Richard here. Out comes Gibson, well played. Both goalkeepers showing their ability to play with their feet. We talked about it with defenders earlier. Just when was the last time? I mean, when we were younger, goalies were, a lot of times you've had players take goal kicks for them. They were so poor with their feet. Now you have goalies like Lyons and here with Gibson being able to play with the field players, and really that's something that's changed in American soccer over the last 10, 15 years.
Yeah, last year, just speaking off of the school I work at with Sage,
Yes.
last year we had our goalie, Nicole Maurer, who, well, I'll let you get the subs first
No,
if you want.
we'll get to them in a second, yeah.
But she was also played forward as well. She was all conference up front. And
regular
so,
Jorge Campos.
yeah, so she really, last year, she was forced to become the starting goalkeeper, but because of that, she was definitely more of a sweeper keeper.
Okay.
Which allowed our backs a little more wiggle room because they knew how good she was with her feet. There would be times where she would honestly take people on as a goalkeeper.
Not necessarily what you want. Jorge Campos used to do that for Mexico back in the early 90s.
Yeah, but a great player, all-conference.
Yeah.
Went actually and played lacrosse for the first time and became an all-conference lacrosse player her first season ever. So just an overall amazing athlete.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we've seen it earlier. RPI not at all afraid. No hesitation to play the ball back to Lions. And I think that's something that when you have a goalkeeper that you have total confidence in, it helps everybody out. You have an 11th player now. Whereas if they're a liability and you're afraid to play it back, then you ended up playing out for corner or for throw-ins and things you might not really want to do, giving the ball away when you otherwise could have kept it.
Absolutely. That trust is everything.
So we do have the subs coming on. It's Vera Tietze. She's from Germany, and I every time I probably butcher her hometown, Erlangen, Germany.
Sounds great.
She is a sophomore. She also runs track here at RPI, and she brings some energy. She has good touch on the ball, and she's playing on that right side currently. Now, Jackie Richard is off, and Sarah Harper back on. So Harper cannot leave the field again if she wants to come back on again, although we only have 10 minutes left. So I believe Harper will be on for the duration. We do have a long throw coming again for RPI, taken by Hansen. I'll get to the other subs in a moment as it's thrown in. Flicked on. Will it sit for Kaplan? And she got her right foot on it, outside of the right foot. But it was right into Gibson, and she was able to hold it there. Gagan back on, Hartman back on, as you might expect. The starters back into the game. A little bit of a breather here for the kind of a 10-minute break. But the right winger and the center striker are back on here for the Cardinals. And here is Sococio, who did not get the benefit of a break. And she wins the throw. Yeah, absolutely not. She wins the throw and takes it quickly, but Steinmetz plays it away. Headed in the air. Alarian lets Tietze play. And we have a whistle here. And I'm not sure, maybe somebody's getting a talking to. I'm not quite sure.
Oh.
Before I forget, I want to give a shout out to one of the RPI Women's Soccer alums, Rachel Tietzen, who's stuck in a conference call at work. Hope she just has this on mute. Or maybe some buds in, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe, who knows?
But Tietzen, one of those players who could play all over the field here for RPI. I'm sure there are plenty of alums watching from all over. We're happy you're joining us here. Dahlia Larian has some space in front of her, and she is found by Kaplan. Here is Alarian.
Let's see if Plattsburgh can get organized.
California native, and her right-footed shot is rolled wide left. She's missed a few games, I think, Alarian, due to some injury, so getting her back in there and getting some minutes at game speed will only benefit her when the league season comes. You can tell with her jersey collar in her mouth that she wasn't happy with the attempt, but it's getting there, and it's going to be a process to get back into the flow of things. She can be very potent offensively for this RPI team, so they'll like to get her back to full strength. Engineers have it. Moreau lobbing it on. It's headed down by Wallace, but she gives it right away. Now May. What will she find here? Takes a shot in the end. Had Johnson flying up the right wing unmarked. It's kind of tough to see. Kind of have to have eyes in the back of their head, which sometimes May seems to have, but not in this case, as it's played out for a throw. 7:40 left, and RPI with the 1-goal lead. They want to stay on the attack. You don't want to kind of sit back and play defensive, especially when you are holding play. The best thing to do is to keep the ball. The team can't score, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that's benefiting RPI a lot is that when they are countering, when Plattsburgh gives away the ball in the midfield or the RPI defense wins it, is they get numbers forward very quickly. So all 4 backs are then required to pick up a player and go into straight man marking without any sort of leeway as far as a second player is concerned to clean up anyone who's been beaten.
RPI just, some friendly fire over there from Steph May. She hit one of her teammates sitting on the sideline, but no one seems to be worse for the wear.
Wants to get everyone involved in the game.
Everyone gets a touch here. RPI, speaking of more people getting touches, have 3 subs ready to come back in, or in for the first time, and they'll get that opportunity now. So RPI making 3 subs, and this is the kind of situation where not only do you have, the better of play, but now you get your starters, and looks like some of the starters are coming back in, some rest, and you have a player like Megan Lecko, who's a freshman, who started a couple games this year. This is her first minutes of the game. She is completely fresh. She hasn't played at all, and she gets to run around for 6 minutes against a pretty tired back line. Moreau heading it on, trying to shield it here. I believe that's Richard. She gets upended and is down. Back to her feet. She's hobbled, and we play on. Richard, a tough.
That hurt me.
She flipped pretty high in the air. She gets a little bit of question here from the center official, our head referee, and she's going to continue.
The known call, though.
Absolutely. No, it was a great tackle. It was a good challenge. Nothing in it as far as a foul there, and we play on, and Richard back to her feet, and good to see she is up and running around. We have not seen Alexis Castrolon. We hope she's all right, because the Engineers could really use her midfield play as league season starts for RPI this coming Friday against RIT. It's a 4 o'clock start. And then they play the number 2 team in the country and Liberty League favorite, William Smith, 2 o'clock on Saturday. So this is really the final tune-up, if you will, for the league schedule. 5 minutes to go. Perry Lascaris here with Colleen Dempsey. Colleen, thanks so much for taking the drive down to Troy. I know you're in Albany there, but like to have you. I think you add a whole lot to this broadcast, so I'd like to thank you for joining us.
Oh, thanks. It's great to be here. And speaking of injured players, shout out to all the athletic trainers out there, because they're not all heroes wear capes.
Hey,
those are the athletic trainers.
Of all the, I'm sure if our athletic trainers watch this on replay, they'll be happy, or if they're watching it now. But I know you've made a lot of athletic trainers keep their jobs throughout their careers.
Oh yeah, I've definitely paid for some aqua pools at physical therapy places.
Absolutely. Well, there's Letko getting her first touch, and she wins the ball for May, and now's Winslow. Back to May, has some pressure on her back. Lots of room for Letko. Here's Megan Letko crossing it in. One-time shot, Richard, and she wants another chance at that. Not an easy play in the slightest. It was a ball about hip high. She was going to have to hit it on a volley, and if you can put that one on goal, you're pretty special. I know she's a good player. She can put that on goal, but not quite there.
Yeah.
Now Richard trying to win another ball through the midfield. Pops it over the top. This is Johnson. Plenty of freshmen here. Is Letko another one. Left-footed shot, and that will be not held. Kind of bobbled, and I think she landed on the ball. Maybe knocked the wind out of her. No, she's up to her feet. For all the great saves that Gibson has made, that not one of her better ones. It turns into a corner kick, and kind of lucky for her she wasn't in front of goal, or it would have been quite a bobble there, but she was able to at least touch it wide. Corner kick for RPI. It'll be Steinmetz once more, trying to add an insurance goal. Makes it just to the the near edge of the 6, I should say, from the corner. As it now spinning with it is May, twisting and turning. Nice tackle on the far side. Cardinals win it back. It looks like it may have been Johnson just kind of run over there.
Yeah, that was a little much.
And now a chance to counter here. And they have the player they want on the ball. It's Sacoccio. Sacoccio still rampaging up the field. Still Sacoccio. Cuts it back all the way across the face of goal, and it's out for a goal kick.
Hartman can't believe it.
What a run
Might not
by Madeline Sacoccio. I'm not sure who that was. The Schenectady native nearly broke the hearts here of RPI fans in the stands as she ran maybe 40 yards down the field with the ball, cut it all the way across the front of the net, and I didn't quite see who had the chance to try and stick that home. And I'm not sure that we will, as great chance. RPI caught with maybe a few too many numbers upfield. You want to play offensive. Do you have the
I have
the culprit?
I have the culprit picked out. I'm just blind.
Sacoccio, shot blocked down, Engineers clear, and some late life here for Plattsburgh. As they're trying to find an equalizer, they nearly did. This is a good turn and a ball played ahead, although Winslow wins it back off the heavy touch by Sacoccio. One of her few poor touches today allows the Engineers to just lob the ball right back down the field. And now stolen away by Steph May. Now she works on Knight. Still May. Touch and go up the sideline.
This is a point in the game there. If you're Plattsburgh, you have to be very offensive minded. If RPI scores another goal,
Absolutely.
It's still a loss, but at this point you need to do everything you can to try to get one in the net for yourself.
Let go. Her cross was whacked back out to the midfield line, but Moreau on for Kaplan. Still energy left in Kaplan's tank as she moves it into the corner, and now she'll look to play a little bit of keep away here as there's a minute to go in the game, and she's double teamed, and it's finally won back, and a whistle here, and they're going to call a foul, or maybe an out for a throw. Not 100% sure. We'll know in a moment. Nope, they're saying throw.
I got the name on that
Okay.
cross earlier from Sacoccio. It's Katie Madden, and right now she has the most goals and points of any freshman on the team. So definitely that Heather O'Reilly type player I was talking about.
So Matat was the one who got in, and she, a fresh substitute, just into the game, had that opportunity, just couldn't quite get on the end of the Sacoccio cross. And that would have been quite a goal here in the final minutes. Now just 22 seconds, and the Engineers doing their best to just play the ball into the corner.
Playing smart soccer.
Looked like maybe offside.
I
No.
thought so, but
Maybe one of the center backs kept Kaplan on there. 9 seconds to go. The Engineers look to have wrapped this one up. She certainly, well, you can't be offside in the throw, of course. Was there, played out with 2 seconds, and that will do it for this one. The Engineers get a goal in the second half. It came off the boot of Emily Kaplan, and it was quite a strike here. Came in the 73rd minute. That allows the Engineers to come away with the 1-0 win on this fine Monday night in Troy. Colleen, RPI now at 7-1. Many of these games won by a single goal. Do you have any, I guess, worry just from seeing them just the one time here? They're able to generate. This is pretty indicative of how a lot of their games have gone. They've scored 3 goals in one, 4 in another. All the other wins have been 1-0 wins. So, I mean, maybe a little bit, but they play really solid D, and they don't give up a whole lot of chances. We saw a chance there at the end. Really one of the 2, maybe 3 chances for Plattsburgh in the game. Real solid scoring opportunities. What did you see from this RPI team, which was a few deep when you looked at who was off the field? They had one of their starting midfielders injured in the first 10 minutes of the game. They were able to go to the bench and kind of lose too much.
For the most part, I was really impressed with their organization. They did a very good job of keeping their shape, and which made it harder for Plattsburgh because it wasn't like there was ever many chances where they were finding people out of position and therefore couldn't utilize any mistakes that weren't there. So I was really impressed with that because especially with young teams, they forget how important that shape in organization can be, and it saves them a lot of work in the long run, both offensively and defensively.
Yeah, so RPI picks up the 1-0 win. Another shutout for Joey Lyons, her 5th shutout of the season. In incredible numbers so far. I believe the school record is 9. Not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but this is a team that you look at the league. The league, Liberty League, is a very, very tight league. You kind of have William Smith, who's separated itself, and you have a lot of teams that are very similar. You look top to bottom. RIT, Vassar, St. Lawrence, all those teams, I don't want to leave anybody out. Union, of course, at 1-0-1 already in the conference. A team that seemingly was having not as great a year. They're 500 overall, but they go into conference play and they get a draw and a win. Skidmore in there. I mean, there really aren't too many teams. Bard has gotten better. They're 5-3 overall. You can't really overlook any of the league is what I'm trying to say. So you can expect a lot of low-scoring games, a lot of 1-0 games. RPI playing in a lot of these games. They have the experience, and they've gotten some late goals. They've won in overtime. They've won with second-half goals. They've won with first-half goals. They've held on. So they've kind of won in all the different ways you can. It's just a matter of kind of executing and doing and repeating that and being consistent. I know every coach around, I'm sure every coach you've ever had has talked about consistency. This team, with all the young players, will try to be consistent, and that's not always easy to do, but it will be very exciting to see what this team is able to do over the next 3-4 weeks when league play rolls right around.
Yeah, I think it'll be a lot of fun for fans, coaches, players. When you have a season with this much promise, you can't help but give in to the energy that's there and exists, and going forward, knowing that the league is pretty much wide open.
With
a few exceptions, obviously, with William Smith, but other than that, it seems like, like every year, it's pretty wide open, and they can really make some noise and make some things happen this year.
And of course, until you play the games, you don't really know. William Smith, they have had some big-time wins, and I think they went and beat Messiah. They're a very good team, and not to take anything away from them, but until you play 90 minutes against the team, you don't really know how you stack up against them. Some teams match up against some than others, but you never know. And so that's what is so exciting about the upcoming season for this group. They hope to get as healthy as possible before Friday. I know there's a couple players who have taken knocks, a couple players out for this game. We don't know why, of course, and even if we did, we probably wouldn't disclose it.
No.
But so it's going to be a wide open year in the Liberty League, as it always is. We just hope the weather stays this nice all the way through November.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, Colleen, thanks for again joining us here this evening, and for all the folks watching at home. I know RPI TV does a fantastic job. I'm not sure how much RPI TV you've seen since you've been up in the area, but they just do a fantastic job. And of course, the folks from the RPI film class that are here doing the filming, they got some well needed experience, some great experience shooting this game. And from what we saw from up here from our monitor, they did a great job. And of course, little soccer fans.
Yeah, they're big fans of RPI TV as well.
Absolutely. We got some younger fans who I'm sure are getting they don't even know it yet, but are getting great soccer. They've watched some good soccer tonight, and
recruiting class of 2023.
Yeah, right. It'll be a little while there, but RPI picking up the win. We'll send us out with that. Goal by Emily Kaplan, her team leading fourth of the year in the 73rd minute, was the only goal in this one. Another shutout for RPI women's soccer, improves to 7-1. SUNY Plattsburgh now 5-4-0. They will look to continue SUNYAC play this weekend. RPI, as we mentioned a couple of times, starts Liberty League play Friday, Saturday. For Colleen Dempsey, I'm Perry Lascaris, and everybody here at RPI TV, we thank you for watching tonight's game. Once again, your final score, RPI 1 and Plattsburgh 0. This has been RPI Women's Soccer on RPI TV.